We are not even halfway through September yet, and it's already been a busy month here at RSS.com. We've released a bunch of new features, and I want to walk through them with you today. This is going to be a brief overview, and if you want to get deeper dives into some of these features, go ahead and subscribe over on our YouTube channel. But for now, let's get into the updates. So we have two versions that have come out this month, and in the first one that came out a few days ago, we are looking at big changes to the public pages for each podcast. There have been some optimizations to improve the viewing experience and improvements across the user experience, but I want to highlight two features in the podcast player. First, with episode timestamp sharing, you can jump right to the good stuff by sharing episodes starting at your chosen moment. This is a lot like the feature on YouTube where you can share down to the second the part of the video that you want to send to your friend, family, random stranger on Twitter. The other thing that we have here is clickable timestamps and transcriptions that will also bring you to a specific moment in the episode. So if you are perusing the episode, or maybe you had listened to this episode, but you're trying to find the one spot where they mention a specific thing, you can search the transcript, click the timestamp, and get right to that section without having to re-listen to the entire episode. This is also a great time to remind you that if you have a paid plan on RSS.com, you get free automatic transcriptions. This is not an upsell or an additional feature. You don't have to purchase some other software. You get it just for being an RSS.com customer. So let's take a look at how these features work. I am on a recent episode I did with Jared Easley, one of the founders of Podcast Movement, and I'm going to click on the transcript. Now, I am going to point out here that we also do have chapters, so you can jump right to a specific section of the episode that way. But let's say we are trying to figure out something that Jared said in here about Podcast Movement. So we can go ahead and search Podcast Movement and find all the references for that. Then we can go through, and it looks like down here at 4 minutes and 11 seconds, Jared mentioned that Podcast Movements started as a company before a conference. I'd like to hear that, so I'm going to click on that timestamp, and you can see that the player jumps right to that moment, and I can listen. Now, if I want to share this moment with a friend, I can scroll up, I can click the share button, and we have the link, but I can also click start at 4:11. You can see the time gets added, and then I could copy that link and share it on social media or with a friend or family member. So those are some improvements that we made to the public pages for podcasts. The next thing I want to show you is going to help you with your podcast management. We just released this feature as I record this video, and this is the ability to add collaborators to a podcast. So podcast owners on paid plans can now invite up to 10 collaborators, and they can add as specific roles. Admin, who is responsible for managing episodes, accessing analytics, configuring settings, including Apple Podcast keys and value for value wallet details. Or you can add an analyst. They are limited to viewing and exporting analytics. So the main difference here is that with a admin, this could be maybe your VA who's tasked with taking your episodes and publishing them, or it could be a co-host, so you don't have to share logins anymore, and they can go in and update the Apple Podcast keys. With analytics, you might want to share this with a sponsorship manager or an assistant who's in charge of sales in order to get sponsors or brand deals and things like that. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Here is a podcast called Hero's Journey by one of our team members, Michael Bickett. He gave me access to this podcast. So if I click on settings and then I scroll down to collaborators, I can click on this and I can add new collaborators. So you can see I've already added myself here. If I click add new collaborator, I can put in the email address, select the role as admin or analyst, add their name, and then they will get an email that is asking them to join the podcast as a collaborator. And then I will see this in my account, or your collaborator will see it in their account. So there you have it. Those are the new features that we've rolled out so far in September 2023. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to reach out with any questions. And again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get even more in-depth feature and podcasting tutorials. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Joe Casabona with RSS.com. And until next time, I'll see you out there.